Quick question for you.
Sure.
Struggle, right? When it comes to business, right? Since your first big breakthrough online, which I would say, based on what you just told me, will be late 2009, early 2010, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would be your biggest struggle since then?
Oh, dude, I mean, I can go through lots of it. It depends on what you want to talk about, right? But I mean, here's the thing. Well, I'll tell you about a handful, right? And I've talked about a lot of this. A lot of this stuff is things I'm talking about in my daily show, like things I've ran into and then overcome, or things that I'm learning about now. And this is, I just did a show where I was one of the quotes I said was from, I heard from a sermon that T.D. Jakes gave online. I like watching preachers. And he said, a lot of people say, I want your ministry. And I like to ask them, can you handle my pain? Right? And so the thing that sets great people apart is not how hard they hit, it's how many times they get up. That's the Rocky metaphor, isn't it? And so for me, my life has been a life of essentially overcoming struggle and just being willing to deal with it. And every time I come into something, I'm like, man, that sucks. And then I figure out a way to overcome it. I mean, these are some of the things that I've had to overcome over the last 5 years. This is since I started Empower Network. So companies going out of business, I ran into that in 2010, dealt with it. I was in love with a company that went out of business. One of the first things I experienced, you remember that, you were there.
I remember that.
And then, things not growing as fast as I want, company owners not treating me well. I had $1.5 million stolen in late 2013 in Vietnam. I actually am not allowed to tell the story because I have it not.
Did you say $1 million or half $1 million?
$1.5 million. And it was wired off to Vietnam, and there is a guy that has been captured by the FBI and is in jail for the rest of his life for it. Had somebody else strong-arm me for several $1 million. Lost all of my money and then had to pay a bunch of taxes. Almost went bankrupt twice from not understanding financial controls. And this is in between making a lot of money too. Been unwise with money, spent it all. Not having good accounting systems in place, resulting in a lot of employees taking things. And basically over that whole time, what I've learned is things that you can just read in books. You know what I mean? And this is a thing that, like, a lot of people, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, about the low quality of online marketing education and how unorganized it is. And a lot of this, my stuff has always been quality, but also hasn't been organized in the right way when you compare it to something like a book that you can buy for $10, right? Like if you read this book, they'll have like, this flow book, but any of these books, right?
Right.
Some of them aren't that great and some of them aren't as well thought out. But like most of these books, like this book, for example, this is like a book about the monetary system. Like people buy courses on this stuff, but like don't have.
But the information is in there for free. For a few bucks, the information is right in there.
Yeah, the library card is worth like millions of dollars in education. And so like this is what I've been on about lately. Is I got like stuff like this. Is like these are books that like are written on. Like this is like written by, these are like the Harvard Business Reviews, right? These books. Because I've never read this stuff, because I've always thought school is stupid, which in a certain way I still think it is, right?
Context, right?
Yeah, contextual, but not knowing this stuff that people learn in school, I would have made probably $200 million more myself, right? Because I didn't know this stuff. Like for example, project management. I got a book up here about project management because I just basically let the guy go that I was having doing project management.
That's what I got a master's in.
Well, yeah. So like, what do people do? Like there's a guy, him, I won't mention his name. He actually runs a podcast too, but he's really good at selling, awful at delivering, right? And the way he manages is he basically gets really excited, tells somebody about something, right? And then continues to just throw stuff at them, but never really explains it. And then he wonders why it's not done. Now, this same guy, his books, his financials are off every month by anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000. Like there's just that much missing every month, right? Like he doesn't even know where it is, right? Yeah. So like if that's how your business is running, you could end up in jail, right?
Yeah.
You're never going to get done what you want to get done. You're always going to wonder why people aren't doing what you want, but it's because you don't know how to communicate in a way that's clear. Well, that's what people study in business school. And if we want to run actual businesses and not just run around being chaotic, we got to learn this stuff that people learn in school, right?
Yeah.
And so like that regular business stuff that like most people know, but then they never start a business, or they're not creative, or they don't have the energy to create something, that stuff's cost me probably $100 million.
One of the things I like about you, man, is like you said earlier, is about learning through the process and always getting back up, you know, and always even being having the balls to accept and say, you know what, yeah, I should have known that. I should, you know, and that's a big part of being great, man. And you're absolutely showing that. That's what I can relate, because in 2008, my whole business, the 7-figure business, got wiped out. And for a long time, I would not. I would not say directly what it was, or you know, I would just work around. But eventually, I'm like, no, I got to talk about this. And part of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast and this content is because it helps me myself through the process. And I've learned so much over the years. And you know what I found? Once I started talking about it, I noticed, like you, the Ray Higdons, everybody went through this, man. Everybody went through, you know, and but still, we're still here, and we're going strong. We're lucky. I'll say we're lucky, you know, to be here. But it's just fascinating to be hearing you say that, man. And you're going to places, man. You're just getting started. So
totally. Well, here's what I know now. Here's the interesting. So like this thing that I'm doing, right? Like not everybody understands like the stuff that I've been working on the last month. Right. Here's what happened to me. Let me tell you about here's probably one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned, right? Like, because people have some perceptions about me, and some of them are true, and some of them are because of things that I've accepted from other people, and then some of them are just bullshit, right? I sold a lot of stuff, and so what I learned was, like, for example, back when I wasn't known, I never had anything negative about me, nothing, right? There was like zero negative, and then all of a sudden I've got all these affiliates, and like we're doing, you know, $5 million a month in sales, and like we're in 200 countries. I didn't know there was 216 countries, and then like, you know, and it's like, you know, it's almost like what's going on, and I'm having people randomly hit me up if I'm traveling to Mexico and be like, are you Dave Wood? You know, and then all of a sudden people start making up bullshit, you know, and it's like, do you even know me? You know, if I used to get mad, I used to reach out to people and I'd be like, dude, do you know who I am? I know. They're like, what the hell is this? You know, but now I'm just like, yeah, I don't even care. It is what it is, but there's no negative. But then when people know who you are, right? Number one, your actual flaws get talked about because you're like a celebrity, right? And everyone has flaws, you know? So they talk about that, and it's like, well, yeah, I do that crinkly forehead thing. He's a little big, you know, and I should probably take more showers or dress better, you know? It's like, but God, people, don't do something good with your life. But, you know, it exposes you to a lot. And then you get, I think you get stronger too, as long as you maintain, you know. Here's what happened to me. All right, a handful of things that I've learned, biggest lessons that I've learned. Okay, number one, when I started my company Empower, it was my vision. I directed the whole thing, all of it, and I gave too much credit to people that I didn't really need around. Honestly,
well, I know that. I know that because I was there on day one. Right?
You saw it. Yeah, you saw it, and you saw who they were. Yeah,
I know the part where you told the story to share your credit a little bit too. So I know that. But go ahead.
Yeah, and the thing is that here's the thing. Then I let people convince me after that number one, I needed them there, and number two, right now I like people, but it doesn't mean I need them there. And number two thing though is that I couldn't do it without them. And then I let people convince me that I didn't know how to run an actual business, and I needed this other person there to run my business. And so because of that, I let people try to do what I knew how to do, and it's not their vision, right? So I think about it like this. It's like God puts a vision in your heart, right? And it's your vision. That's your responsibility. Yeah. It's not my responsibility to create Ola's vision, right? That's yours, right? If you don't create it, it'll be taken and given to somebody else, but it's not mine, it's yours, right? And so if I give my vision into somebody's hands and I don't take care of it, right, that's not their vision. And so like I was letting people just basically run my company into destruction, right? And so what I decided to do was I decided to go back to how I started it, but without any of this, I need this daddy figure there crap. Because I don't, right? So I let like maybe 40% of the people in my organization go. And all at once. And I went in and I just started doing it myself. But here's the thing, in doing it the way that I want to do it and being willing to direct it, everything that I want to get done is getting done the way that I want for the first time since 2011, right? And it'll take from here 90 days to create a momentum wave from that, because everything that I'm doing is creating things exactly how I know they should be created. What I learned was that, number one, you don't need to take people's crap. Number two, right now, people are giving you crap. Everybody's got flaws, right? But you have a choice when people are giving you shit, right? You can either, it's not like I'm going to get mad at them. I don't want to get mad at them and blow up and control what they do. They can do what they want, but not around me, right? So I'm not going to let somebody can go out there and they could be a womanizer and sleep with as many chicks as they want. I ain't going to let them in my house. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I was talking to somebody about that the other day, about a situation that you know about, but you don't know the whole story. I tell you about it sometimes. You know some of it, right? Some of it around the bringing people into business that you shouldn't thing, right? And here's what I told him as an example, as a metaphor. And I was like, he's like, well, yeah, but that person hasn't done anything around that here. I was like, well, if somebody's a rapist, they haven't raped your daughter either, but do you leave them in the same room alone?
Probably you shouldn't.
Yeah, no. Right? Like, oh, no.
Probably no.
I said, well, there you go, right? Yeah. Don't let people into your business that are rapists and con artists, right, in business, because a lot of them are there. And then what I learned, too, is that people will either seek to produce results or to plunder. I was reading about this in a book the other day, where some people, they seek to create
results or to plunder.
Yeah, people create wealth by producing or plundering. And it's always the natural tendency of human beings to plunder, right? And because if they could just take somebody else's wealth and they don't have to produce it. And some people, because they get results doing that one time, right, they think that that's the way to create. But if you learn to produce your wealth by giving, right, by giving value, and that's what content is really about, then what happens is you're going out there and you're creating value in society. Right. And the thing is, nobody gets mad at value. Nobody, right? See, sometimes you have like a business or something like this. And I was talking we have a thing called the Legacy Mastermind. It used to be called the Leadership Council. It's like a council of leadership inside my company. And, they were talking, they're like, how do we sell more of this thing, right? It was a particular product we had. I said, you guys want my honest opinion, and this is what we're going to do? And they're like, what? I said, there's two choices. Number one, sell it harder. Number two, create more value and actually make it something that people are like drooling at to buy because they can't live without it, and it actually over-delivers on that.
Yes.
If we do that, right, there's a saying in marketing, and it says this. It says, great products make selling easy, and great selling makes marketing easy. Yeah. Does that make sense? Or no. Great products make marketing easy. Great marketing makes selling easy. That's actually the right? Yeah. And so if you're missing the great product part, right, then what do you got to do? You got to sell more and push harder.
Yeah, it's just
right. Yeah, I don't like and other people are giving stuff for free, and the tendency, especially like with education, okay. So where's that headed, right? Well, it used to be like, for example, right, like you could charge tons for small amounts of education. Which you can still do, right? But now the quality of free education has been surpassing all of that paid education. Yeah. So now that's producing a problem for digital marketers, where it's like, how do you? And it's always been like this, but people just don't realize it. But now they're realizing it. But like I got this business, Harvard Business Review book for $10 or $20. Okay. Yeah. How do you charge $4,000? For something that is already in there. This is more valuable. Right. And so it's like there's got to be, you got to change the way that we market a little bit if we want to stay congruent. And I guess that's also part of the packaging and the presentation, the way it's presented. That has value in it. How it's presented, and mentoring has value, right? What's the value of a mentor, right? But like this audio, for example, right? This audio. So people are learning things and they're getting ideas for free. Right. And this is like, there is less quality, right, that people charge for.
Absolutely.
A lot for.
All
right?
day long.
So you're giving this for free as a lead magnet.
Yep.
Right? That is the future. That's the future of education is people are going to be paying for more mentorship in intimate environments.
You know, what I've always done, what sustained me all these years online is I haven't really charged much for just content. I give all the content. The only thing I charge for is my personal time and actual done for you execution. So in other words, executing what you're learning, you know, like for example, putting your whole funnels together, like for example, putting the whole pre-foreclosure campaign together to help somebody get leads for real estate deals and stuff like that. Those are the things that I've charged for, but not necessarily the content. You know, and the same thing is happening with musicians. Musicians are still out here crying about not selling CDs. Or like, you can't. Your music is a marketing material. You need to go out there and look for money some other ways, and not necessarily from trying to sell CDs. You know, and it's the same thing that's happening all across information products. You know,
well, and this is something that like this is hard, right? Because and this is something that I've heard, and then I said, and then it happened to me, right? And so it's like, oh shit! It's like sometimes it's like, oh yeah, but then it happens to you, and the thing you're working on, you're like, oh shit, right? So it's like, well, let me tell you what it is, okay? So it's like I was listening to this Gary Vaynerchuk, right? And why do I listen to Gary Vaynerchuk? Because he got good content, right? So I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk the other day, and he said that bullshit.
Hello, Gary V.
Yeah, he's like everybody does, right? He's like real entrepreneurs work with. I can't remember the exact quote. It's like real entrepreneurs work with how it is. It's like, but bullshit entrepreneurs always are whining about how they wished it would be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And you don't make money off of how you wished it would be. And that's the reality. You make money from what people will spend money on and not anything else, right? So you got to look at how it is. And the reality is that how it is always getting better.
Oh,
But we got to learn to accept that and learn that change is the only constant.
That's it.
And so as we move through time, we're going to have to adapt our model, and we're going to have to change the way that we're selling and the value and the quality of what we're selling if we want to stay in business, right? Yeah. That's just the way that it is. And there's certain things that we'll be able to sell at one point that we won't be able to sell in the future. They'll be outdated in the future. We'll have to change the model in the future to be able to sell, right? Yeah. And all of the things we teach based in technology will change, all of it. So it's like I could tell people like a great podcast strategy, and it's like the only thing I'll say about podcasting is that the more value you give content, and the more quality of the content, and the more consistent you are, and the better you make it over time, the more it'll keep working. But every other mechanical variable of it will change.
Absolutely, because there are minimum wage activities that will be done by a machine, and that thing will continue to evolve.
Totally. And we can't expect of other people for them to continue behaving in the same way with money when the ways that money is operating is changing. Yeah. Right. And so it's like one year, you get real estate or whatever, and it's like the government has some loan rule, and it's like you get loans, and it's like, hotcakes, getting people to buy stuff that's like $200,000, and then all of a sudden one day, president steps in office, signs an executive order, changes the whole loan structure of North America, and you're screwed. And then you're like, man, if only the government didn't do this thing. And you're like, but they did. Yeah. They did. This is the story of life. I just did one of the episodes that'll be released in a couple of weeks here, or maybe 5 days. I think that one, and it was about the 5 laws of decline in civilization, right? And there's only a couple of things you can.
Hey, my friend, did you like that video? I just need help from you. Can you help me? It's just one click. Just click on that subscribe button right now. It should be under this video if you're on a mobile phone, or it should be towards your left if you're on a computer. Just click on the subscribe. It's just one click. Can you do me that favor? Actually, you will get notified every single time I release a valuable video like this. I will see you on the next one, and peace.